This is going to be my first attempt at trying to explain the emotional capacity model in a video. For those of you that are my online clients and want to just simply chat about this, I need a way to get you a visual so you can understand a little bit more about what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the ladder and the V. So with my very limited knowledge of technology, I'm going to try to do this for you. So this is what we call the emotional capacity model. The ladder up and down the center, we're going to title authenticity. And across the top is the vast expanse of emotional capacity. So you guys can write that across the top if you want, emotional capacity. It just means every desirable feeling to the very best that you can feel it, and the most undesirable feeling. That doesn't always mean happy and sad. And we'll talk about that more as we're talking about your particular situation. But the important thing to understand about the authenticity is that this is your best and truest understanding of yourself. And that kind of evolves over time, and it changes with situations sometimes. Some of you, I've talked about being in a crisis, and sometimes putting yourself in a crisis or stepping out into a brave new thing forces you up higher on authenticity. So you might find yourself scooting about at a very high level. And if you're scooting about at a very high level, especially if it's new, it might seem to be rather fragile, and it might seem that you could fall at that level very easily. You're exploring there, which could be very dangerous or very exciting. It can be quite the adventure, or it can be an absolute nightmare, depending on which way you look from that level and where you are exploring. You could explore lots of different wonderful possibilities in the adventure over here, or you could find a lot of scary, nightmarish options over here. A lot of opportunity to be naive or innocent or inferior or even betrayed and hurt. So falling in love very much seems like it would fall over here, and having your heart broken obviously would seem like it would fall over here. So this isn't just true in relationships though. So a lot of times what we do is we get to moving around at a particular level, and we end up not wanting to feel the things on this side. And instead of refocusing on the other things we also have the capacity for at this level, we end up moving back down to somewhere that was comfortable yesterday or last year or when we were younger or in a different relationship. And that might seem a lot more stable, a lot more familiar, and a lot more comfortable to us. A little bit of a comfort zone situation. We're doing it to get away from this. So we go back down here so there's less room for broken heart, less room for pain, but we also limit all of the wonderful feelings on the other side as well. Every time we move up and down on the ladder of authenticity, we increase and decrease in equal capacity the amount of emotions that we are able to feel. Now remember, this is just the capacity for emotion. It doesn't mean we're actually aware of all these emotions at the different levels, but it means that we can be aware of them if we tune into them. If you're at a point in your life where you're really not feeling much of anything, or you seem to retreat to a point or a place where you don't feel much of anything, it might be that you're simply retreating in authenticity to the point where you don't feel much of anything, but you also can't feel a lot of motivation or inspiration or gratitude or love as well. You're limiting both options when you decrease in authenticity. If you start to understand yourself better and be yourself in every situation, you have equal capacity then for that increased amount of emotion. So hopefully this explains this a little bit more for those of you who are just chatting with me in the chat box. So take a little look at this and then type in your questions, and let's continue our conversations.